I'm Kate Clay. I'm the HR Director here at eStar. So I've been here nearly 4 years. eStar are a Mercedes-Benz franchise partner, so we do trucks and vans. We don't do any cars, so it's just the big stuff. We've got about 350 people across 5 sites, mainly northwest and into North Wales. I didn't choose HR, I kind of fell into it. I think
HR chose you.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think that you don't necessarily choose it, but it ends up being your lifelong passion. So I started in HR when I was 17 in Sainsbury's. So I started on the cookie crew when I was 16 and a half on the checkouts. And then progressed into a HR role, and I've done it ever since. So I've been in it 20 years now, which is scary.
So what makes eStar unique?
So I think for me, eStar is very people focused. We are very people driven, and we believe that people are the biggest asset of the business, and we work very hard to make sure that they are looked after, that their well-being is put at the top of the agenda. I think a lot of businesses will look at the bottom line first, or what your profits are, or how the business has been made up, and obviously that is important, but the people are what comes first for us, and I think by doing that, the rest of it then will follow.
Perfect. So why does eStar choose to support Ben?
I think eStar originally, when I first started, hadn't actually had Ben involved at all. So previous business that I used to work for back in the day when I was 21 was a motor trade business as well, and they did a massive amount with Ben, and that's really where I first heard about Ben, and we did a lot of campaigns for them, or for you. And then coming here, they didn't have that support. So for me, it was crucial that we got Ben in as soon as possible. So I started in 2021 and got those campaigns off the ground as quick as possible. And a lot of people hadn't heard of Ben at that point. I don't know whether that's because it's a commercial vehicle business rather than a car, and that's where Ben was predominantly, or where people were predominantly knowing about Ben from, and then got Ben involved from there, really.
What values drive your business, and how do they connect with Ben's mission?
I think, again, being about well-being and about the people and putting people first and making sure that they are looked after aligns the two. So between Ben and all the initiatives that you guys put forward and that you want to help the industry, we're the same. So we want to drive to be the best dealer group that we can be, and I think certain initiatives that we put in place to be the top of that is very important. I think that aligns with Ben as well. We want to be the best out there. We want to make sure that we have as much initiatives as possible, so we attract a lot more women, for example. So we've got a high percentage of our SLT are women focused. So I think that aligns quite nicely between the two of them.
Perfect. And what role does workplace wellbeing play in the long term for eStar?
I think it's underpinned completely throughout the business. So what we do and how we set our initiatives up for the following year or the business case is really, really important to us. And I think in terms of initiatives that we put in place, it's really, really important to us that the well-being of the colleagues is put high on the agenda. So whether that's a benefit that we've introduced, whether that's an initiative with recruitment, whether that's getting more women involved, more initiatives or benefits for women, it's all contained within that, and it underpins the whole business and the whole strategy, really.
What are your first impressions of Ben's work within the industry?
So in the previous business I worked at, when I was 21, in the motor trade, it was mainly about people's mental health and supporting people from like the counselling perspective. So that was really my first impression of Ben, and that, you know, counselling services could be accessed a lot quicker. But I think as time's gone on, I think as Ben's developed and I think more awareness has come about, the depth in which Ben can support people is huge, and I think that's why these campaigns are so important, about getting out there and telling people what Ben can actually do for people. It's not just a counselling service, it's not just a case that, you know, you can ring up and it is brilliant. You know, we've had loads of examples where people have used the counselling service, but it's so much more than that.
And what benefits does Ben bring to your business?
Well, we use Ben as an EAP, so we have that in place, as I said, from when I first started within the business. We've promoted Ben throughout various different ways. We have our intranet, where people access it. We've actually got Ben on our backgrounds on our computers at the moment, so the screensavers are all Ben with a QR code. I think the support level that Ben can then do for colleagues takes it to the next level. So as an employer, you do your best as much as you can with your colleagues and to support them. But there's certain things that we aren't qualified in, although we've got mental health first aiders, our managers are trained in mental health awareness, which was through Ben's training actually. There are certain things that we aren't experts in, and Ben just takes it to the next level, which is brilliant, and that's how we push as many people as we can do to Ben, even just for a chat. So quite often, my team will say, just give Ben a ring, and see what they can do to help you, because there's so much more to it. So it's a brilliant support.
And is that reassuring for you and the leaders within the business that you have Ben that you can use as a resource?
Oh, absolutely. Our managers are all trained in conversations when they do return to works, for example, or difficult conversations, so they know the support that they've got there. And I think because we're such a big campaigner of Ben and we supply a lot of information to the business, they are very aware of it, and they are more than comfortable about signposting to Ben, and it just gives us that peace of mind that there is someone out there that can support as well.
How have your teams engaged with Ben, and in what ways has the partnership come to life within eStar?
I think the managers have taken on board Ben, and I think their understanding of Ben and the campaigns that we've been doing has grown over the years. We do a lot of campaigns during the year, so we do a Wellbeing programme throughout the year, which we do a lot of links to. It's a lot to do with when Ben puts things out about, say, stress in the workplace or stress in general. We'll then take that campaign and then do our own internally. So we do the Ben breakfast, we get involved in that. We try and do as much fundraising as we can. And I think people like to give back, so if they've heard a story where somebody's particularly had some help from Ben, or we've posted something, or they've used Silver Cloud or something like that, I think they're more inclined then to get involved, which is really nice to see.
And why do you believe that the work Ben does is important to the overall automotive industry?
I think the automotive industry can be a little bit behind the times in quite a lot of ways, and I think there's still some stigmas around certain things that I think some businesses within the industry haven't quite got a handle on yet. And I think the awareness piece, and to see other businesses being involved with Ben and supporting Ben, is really, really important, because it then helps other businesses think, well, actually, what are they doing? Should I be involved in that? Should I be aware of that? Will that help with our in-house initiatives and our strategies? So I think the more we can get out into the industry about what Ben does and how supportive it can be for businesses and colleagues, the better.
The supply chain piece for you guys, how important is it that your supply chain and your partners within the business know about Ben?
I think what it showcases is that the business in question has got their colleagues at heart. And I think for me, and as I said before with eStar, we put our colleagues first. So getting that out there in terms of our clients and businesses that we work with, I think shows a different depth of the business. So it's not just a case of we want to sell you this vehicle, or we want to, take your money off you. It's a case of actually this business has got more depth to it. It actually wants to, it's like, the ESG stuff, that's important to some businesses we do tenders with. Yeah. But this is, again, looking at things from a different angle, where it's actually the colleagues that are important and the support. And actually it's good for them to see, maybe we should, again, be looking at it in our own businesses as well.
And can you share a moment that really made you proud of the work your business has done with Ben?
I think there's quite a few you could go into, but I think for me, overall, from a little bit of a higher level, would be our engagement survey. So when I first started with the business in 2021, the business had actually been bought out of administration. So it was pretty broken. The people were very low. The engagement scores were just as I expected, not good. And I think a lot of the initiatives and strategies we've been putting in over the last couple of years have been really, really important, and Ben has played a big part of that. We do a lot around the mental health side of things, and the engagement stats that we've had back for 2024, which was our latest one, the question that we posed to our colleagues about how much do you think we support your mental health and how well do you think eStar do that, has risen from 54% in 2021 to 81%
Wow.
in 2024, which is just incredible. And I'm so proud that we have got to that position where our colleagues feel supported, there's enough initiatives in place, the managers are trained well enough, my team are supporting them well enough to be able to support their colleagues. So, you know, those sorts of things for me just showcase in a lovely stat, you know, how well that is playing out. You know, we've got 74% of people feel supported at work, and this all feeds down into how people perform at work and how comfortable they feel and supported, and that the business actually are bothered about them. It's not just a case of they're a number, and actually what does the bottom line look like. So
Yeah, we talk a lot around that, about if you're living well, you're working well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
for giving
much.
us your time.
Thank you.